Okay, to make our faux flower arrangement, we are going to need a few things. So I gathered a few things that we're going to need, such as a glue gun. You are going to need maybe some floral wire or tape. That's completely optional, but you will need a glue gun. Some wire cutters of sorts. A tape measure. We're going to need this when we measure out a vessel that we're going to use. You are going to need a foam floral rectangle so you can secure all of your flowers in your vessel, and of course glue sticks, and then a variety of spring flowers, tulips and peonies and greenery and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to cut down the items I want to use, and some of these tulips, you want to find tulips that look somewhat real or realistic. And the same with the peonies. Whoops, I just popped one off. So we're going to go ahead and cut down the ones I'm going to use for my arrangement, give or take. So I'm going to use my wire cutters and go ahead and cut the desired pieces I want. So I'm probably going to use like, I don't know. I'm just going to cut down a few and kind of, like the ones that aren't doing so well, like this one. I'm probably just going to trim that off.
Right now I'm trimming all of my faux flowers on an angle cut. Now the vessel that I'm going to do is a DIY, so stay tuned to the end of the video and I'm going to show you how I did that with a palette. But you can use any vessel, and I like doing it on an angle because if I decide to reuse these faux flowers in a glass jar, that they'll be visible if I fill it with water, and it'll give that illusion of faux flowers for real flowers. Another trick when you're buying faux flowers is to look at them. Do they look real? When you touch them, do they feel real? So sometimes buying them on the internet is not always wise because you actually need to physically and touch and look at them. But I did link below some of my favorites, so make sure you check out the description box below because those are linked if you're not able to get to a store to actually browse and look for those faux flowers to look real.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm basically taking my tape measure and I'm measuring out the width and the length of the board. So I want 16.5 going this way and then 6.25 going this way. So that is what I'm doing there. So when I use my saw, I can just cut some nice straight lines and it'll be pretty easy to guide.
Okay, so I'm using a jigsaw to cut my palette in my appropriate dimensions. I will have this all linked in a blog post below if you choose to go this route. But like I said, you can use any vessel. Be creative as possible. I've seen vases that are actually could be used as pitchers, cups, bowls. I've seen large bowls for a vessel. So you could pretty much be creative as you want. I'm just showing you what I am learning because I want to work on my woodworking skills, and I figured a palette is a great way to start because it's very inexpensive. So after I cut all my pieces down, I am sanding them before I assemble them. I tried to assemble them before, so that was a mistake. That's a lesson that I learned, and it was much easier taking them apart and sanding them because I couldn't get in the inside grooves. And this is just basically a rectangle shape. Now take a damp cloth just to wipe all of the sawdust off of it from sanding. This DIY is actually inspired from Pottery Barn, so it's one of their spring floral arrangements that are like almost $200 that I'm making for next to nothing. So that's just a little tip, a little FYI. Just put your mind to it and you can do it. So I am taking wood glue and I am assembling these. You will need maybe clamps. I didn't have clamps, so you'll see I'll have muscle milk displayed and I just put that right on top. And then once everything dried, I nailed it with some finishing nails to secure it in place. Another lesson that I learned was let your wood glue dry for at least 24 hours before you stain and finish it, and be extra cautious and wipe any excess off, because some of the glue actually dried on this palette and it made it quite difficult and whatnot and stained the wood. So when the stain went on, it went on a little funky. So it took a little bit more extra sanding. So I would highly recommend that. So wipe away that excess wood glue, give it 24 hours, and then finish with your finishing nails. Now the stain, I went ahead and stained the whole wood palette, but wood palettes, you got to remember, they're not the best quality of wood, but they're very durable. And this stain came out really, really, really dark. So, and there was a lot of imperfections in the wood. So I actually stained it once and then sanded and wiped it down. And then I went over with a whitewash, which is basically like 25% white paint and 75% water, and mixed it to kind of tone it down a little bit and trying to get it a little bit more even, where it still has that rustic look, but it looks nice. I did use a rag to stain. I find it to be useful, or a sponge. So go for that when you're staining if you find that you're not getting nice strokes. So the last thing I did was put a polyurethane on it just to kind of secure everything, just so it doesn't like get on anything or stink or get damaged and whatnot. I just like to do this. It gives it that finished look. So I just take a paintbrush to this and kind of cover the whole thing with the polyurethane. And then I gave it 24 hours to dry before I started styling it. And when I styled it, I used this cheap, I don't know, inexpensive Dollar Tree fake floral foam. And then I basically went to town arranging and rearranging. And all of this is just personal style, what you like and what you don't like. So you just have to be patient when you're working through this, because you're gonna find that you're like, I need a little here, a little there. And the one thing is, you don't want it to be so perfect looking, because then that's where it looks faux. You want it to look real. You want people to think that the peonies and the tulips and the greenery you're using is real. So you want it to be, and this look is a little bit sporadically placed. So I wanted to look like flowers, fresh cut flowers in a wooden box, just like the one that they have at Pottery Barn. I think it came out extremely nice. And remember, you can always decorate with faux flowers, especially when they're not in season. I think anyone can do it, as long as you just take the time and the patience to create something that is going to make you happy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this encourages you to maybe get some woodworking skills underneath your belt, or to decorate with faux flowers in your home this spring. I think you're gonna enjoy it, and I think you're gonna have a fun time. Let me know if you do this project or whatnot. The whole blog post with the cuts and everything will be in the description box below, and the supplies I use. And remember, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos from me. And thank you for stopping by the farmhouse.